Hello, people. So I want to tell you about how a little random side quest or like goal of mine came to life, right? So basically, the goal is I want it to be drawn randomly. I want somebody to randomly find my image and say, oh, I want to draw her. That's what I wanted, right? And it's not something I really talked about. It's just something I'm like, that'd be cool if that happened. I would love that. And so it finally happened. How even the thought came across. I have some mutuals on my social media who, like, these people are awesome. They're beautiful. And they would always get like drawn. I'm like, hey, that's so cool. I would love to experience that. So I'm like, okay, obviously that's their blessing, right? So how do I find my opportunity? And honestly, that's out of your control, because that's up to some random person to say, oh, I really like their image so much that I want to draw that. Like, I want to use that as my inspiration to like make art. So I decided that same concept of you have to love yourself how you want others to love you. Like, you have to give yourself that love. I was like, all right, let me go commission an artist to make an art piece for me. Like, I always wanted I had this idea of this comic book sketch. It's on my Instagram if you want to see it. But this comic book sketch, and I commissioned an artist who I really like their work, so I just did it. So I gave that to myself. And then from there, I was able to book a gig where I sat down at a art studio and like a whole bunch of artists drew me. So I'm like, oh shoot. And a couple of those artists had art shows and I got to go see like my image on display. And it was like really cool. I got to give myself that experience. But what really like checked the box off for me was like randomly this guy had, mind you, my DMs are off on my Instagram. He had like replied to like a poll, like a question poll thingy that I put on my story and said like, hey, I drew you like the sketches on my story. I'm like, oh,
Can't do that. Can't do that.
You have to.
I had to call my homegirl. I'm like, yo, look at that. Make sure, can you check that out for me real quick? Oh no, that sounds sketchy. He just did it. I'm like, oh wow. And so now I feel fulfilled. Like, you have to give. So basically, all that to say, like, you really do have to give yourself the love you wish to receive. Like, nobody's gonna treat you better than you treat yourself. Now, I know those are kind of like loosely held, but like, I do believe that to be true. You have to, if you want something, you have to be willing to give that to yourself first. Like, yeah. But yeah, I feel good.